Hi, this is my uncle Mark. He's a farmer in the community, and he's,
We're gonna sit down and we're gonna interview, I guess.
yeah. So my senior paper was on urban sprawl and how the land prices are increasing and it's getting harder to grow crops to feed the world with less land.
Is that, you're thinking just in America, man, or are you thinking worldwide?
It is kind of a worldwide problem. It is, but I mostly concentrate on the American situation.
Okay. Okay. Then you got some questions. What are you kind of thinking?
Well, I just...
You did your paper, you had you formed an opinion.
Yes.
So let's...
I feel that it is definitely making an impact. There's more problems contributing to the land price as it increases, but I think it's definitely a problem. I mean, how much was land when you started up when you were knee-high to a grasshopper?
Well, it was probably pretty reasonable compared to today's price. It had gone up from the 50s and the 60s and through the 70s, and the price had kept rising. And by the 80s, it was overinflated. And what I mean by that, people were buying it for more than what they could actually they couldn't make the payments. The cost of the land was too great. So then it retreated, and since the early 80s to mid 80s, it has just kept on going up. Some of it's attributed to competition amongst farmers. Some of it's contributed to a school district buying a piece of property outside of city limits and building a brand new school. Some of it's housing development, that they'll build a housing development instead of farming. Some of it is USDA rules, meaning the United States, the Department of Agriculture have got a lot of rules as to what you can and can't do. If you're in the farm program and they want to make more restrictions, it even has a lot to do with EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, as to what's considered normal land use and what you can and what you can't do. I mean, there's a lot of things that makes land price go up and down. But if you're talking strictly food, I think food is one. Everybody needs it. Everybody needs it, and they need it every day. And historically, agriculture, people farm to live. They farm to feed themselves, and any extra they had, of course, got sold to the market so other people could buy it and consume it. Today, in America, we don't farm to live like we did when our parents or grandparents or great-grandparents were on the face of the earth. We live to farm. We produce so much more than what we could consume. So we've got a lot of people to feed, and it just keeps growing. More people to feed, and sometimes the rules that are being implemented, they don't really mesh real well with more production, one way or another. So I don't know if any other questions you got on that subject.
Also, you live in town, right next to the grocery store, and you're in town. That your food is much fresher than many people that live in more suburban areas where they have to drive to get to their foods. Well, how do you like your setup that you have, I guess?
I have a big garden.
Yep.
Lunch today. Lunch today was grown on this farm.
Good too.
I don't know, a lot of people, it's unavailable to them. I understand that. But as society wants something, a meal, very few people cook from what they call scratch anymore. Starting with raw material and putting together a combination of raw materials to make a meal. They go to the grocery store and they buy their meal in a little cellophane wrapped package. They put it in the microwave and maybe heat it up. To me, I don't consider that food. It's a meal, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it. And how do you feed that many people without having that available? I understand that. But I pretty much am old school when it comes to food. I grow what I eat. I'm lucky, maybe. I'm lucky. And is it any easier or because of where I live next to a grocery store? Yes and no. I think everybody's, inner city, mass transit. I mean, I don't think it's the unavailability of food at this point. It might get there, but people typically don't have to travel a long ways to get to a grocery store. They just don't.